We're now talking to Attorney GOLAN on Immigration Update on the Air, and to be able to answer all your questions. Attorney GOLAN, many people have been asking about requirements for tourist visa. Have there been many changes because of general security concerns?
Well, if there have been changes or there will be changes, they are all behind the scenes, which means that the American consul would make more checks, more security checks, and it may take a longer time to get the visitor's visa. Legally, there has the actual requirements for a tourist visa have not been changed. There may be changes in the internal procedures of the American consulate, of the American embassy, in the number of security checks and the length of time they devote to the checks.
Mm-hmm.
The basic requirement for a visitor's visa is to convince the American consul that you intend to go back, which means that you do not have a plan to stay in the United States. You have to show that you have ties to your country in the form of family in your country, in the form of employment in your country, in the form of property in your country, so that generally you intend to go back. And if you are able to convince the consul that you intend to go back, you have a good chance of getting your visitor's visa.
Mm-hmm. What about adjustment of status? Is it still available, Attorney GOLAN, if they were to extend their stay, like instead of 3 months to 6 months, or even another 6 months of extension?
Normally, almost anybody who comes to the U.S. with a visitor's visa would get a 6-month stay. The reason is that the Immigration Service came to the realization that people tell the immigration officer at the port of entry that they come for a short time, like for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and immediately make an application for an extension. So it doesn't matter what you tell the immigration officer at the port of entry. In most cases, you will get 6 months permit to stay. And the idea is that if they give you 6 months to stay, you have no reason, no acceptable reason to ask for an extension as a tourist.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you do want an extension for more than 6 months as a tourist, you really have to have a good reason to explain why 6 months were not time enough for you to go to Disneyland and to see Niagara Falls.
Mm-hmm.
Why you need more time than 6 months.
Mm-hmm. So definitely, Attorney GOLAN, if one were to come here and explore business opportunities, tourist visa is not the visa for them. They would have to apply for a business visa. Is that correct?
Look, again, usually a business visa is coupled with a tourist visa. What you do get in most cases is B1, B2.
I see.
B1 is a visitor's visa for business purposes, and B2 is a visitor's visa for pleasure. And they come together usually like twins. But again, the issue is this. If you need more than 6 months to explore business opportunities, then you have a problem.
I see. Mm-hmm. So I guess this is something that they would have to inquire from immigration experts to make sure that they enter the United States legally and they comply with all the requirements. Incidentally, Attorney GOLAN, I remember in the past that there had been like a special incentive for those people who would like to put up businesses in the United States, that if they were to invest a certain amount of money, that they would be able to stay as residents?
Not as resident, but there is a special, what we call a treaty investor and treaty trader visa, which is like the E1 and E2 visas. It's not the employment based, but it's another E. E1, which is for treaty trader, and E2 for treaty investor.
Yes.
people from the Philippines, Filipinos may enjoy both of the visas, E1 and E2. And this is for the E2 treaty investor is for a person from the Philippines who is investing a certain amount of money in the business in the United States and wants to stay here to manage this business. Not forever, but only as long as the business exists and his services as manager of this business are required. Okay, there is no legal amount, no specific amount that needs to be invested, but it must make sense. You cannot come and say, I'm investing $10,000 in a business and therefore give me the E2 visa. Okay? Next, you need to show that this business you are investing in is more than just creating a job for yourself.
I see.
Okay, like for example, if you say I'm investing $20,000 to buy a car, and my business will be to work as a driver for Uber. So this is maybe a very good business, but it only really creates a business opportunity for yourself.
I see.
Okay, so you really need to show that you do have another source of income, and usually what they mean is another business back in the Philippines, so that the business in the U.S. is not just to provide for you a livelihood.
I see. Will they be able to petition for some of their employees in their office back home to work for them and also for domestic help?
Well, first of all, probably yes, if they are able to show that they have a real business going on.
I think this is something that a business person would really have to sit down and consult with an immigration expert, Attorney Golan. This can be a very complicated process. So for those people listening, I would advise that you go and meet with Attorney Jack Golan and talk about your business plan. 213-383-3222. And One Park Plaza is the address, 3250 Wilshire Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90010. We'll be back for more immigration update on the air right here on AWEE TV.